Oh man, we are all stockbrokers today. And I'm not going to ignore the irony of having a Wolf of Wall Street poster in the background. But I don't know anything about, I wouldn't say nothing, but I'm not an expert on the stock market. I'm not an expert on finances. I obviously talk more about movies, but the thing that happened this week was almost too interesting to ignore. Basically, Gamestop is one of the most expensive companies on the stock market right now. It's worth, at the moment, just under $200 a share. When it started this week at under $15 a share. So what happened? Well, everyone already kind of knows. Basically, a bunch of people on Reddit found out that a mutual fund, and I believe several mutual funds, had shorted the GameStop stock. They basically believed that the GameStop company was overvalued. Even at $15 a share, it was still overvalued. Which I agree with. If anybody knows about GameStop's, business practices, it wasn't always a popular company. I've almost never heard many good things about it, and yet it survived as a place for people to kind of get modern console games for a slightly better price than you'll maybe find on some websites like eBay or Amazon. At least you'd be cutting out the shipping price. I don't know many people who maybe get new games there. Maybe they have pre-order deals, I'm not sure. But for the most part, it's never been the greatest store. I went to the one in our area recently. We actually have two around here, which I don't get. We have two GameStops. But the one around here, they actually recently cleaned it up. So I'm wondering if they're trying to do something different now, but they don't have many classic console games there. Everything is from the PS3, Xbox 360 era and above. And even then, the games from Xbox 360 and PS3 are very limited. It was mostly just a place where you could get PS4, Switch games, and Xbox One games, and now newer consoles as well. But I think people are just going towards eBay more often now, or Amazon. And so I kind of get why people are like, oh, that's a overvalued company, so let's short it. And I don't understand the complete concept of shorting. I mean, I get it. It's like betting that the company, it's betting against the company, that it's going to fail in a way. And you buy, or you not even really buy, you borrow a stock, which you then sell back to the person. Who these people are, I do not know. But there's a contract written up. And basically, you can sell the stock back. And if you buy the stock for $10, you can sell it back. And you have to sell it back according to the terms of the contract for whatever price it's at. And since they believed the company was going to be undervalued, that amount would be less. So then they sell it back for, let's say, $1. They made a $9 profit, if that makes any sense. But if the company starts to make money, so say when they do come to sell it back, it's at $20 instead of the $10 that they bought it for, now they have to pay that person an extra $10. So that's what makes it a little more riskier than just buying a stock. You can buy $10 of stock, and then if you lose it all, at least you only lost $10 in a sense. Your original $10, no matter where it went with its highest or lowest points. If you lose everything, you only lose $10. But in the case of a short, if you lose money, you lose the original amount that you paid into already. Plus, you can maybe end up paying crazy amounts beyond that. That's what happened in 2008. Everyone had basically, so many people in Wall Street had bet on the mortgage industry because the mortgage industry was very strong, or the idea was that it was strong because everybody pays their mortgage. When it was found out that a lot of those loans were actually absolutely bad, a lot of those bets that were made ended up being bad as well, and enough people were able to catch on to this early on, so they shorted the mortgage industry in a way. They shorted these bonds, and once those bonds failed, they ended up getting paid a huge amount because these bonds were considered very high quality and very good returns. So when they fail, it's a really good return on the other side. So basically, mutual funds were shorting GameStop. People on Reddit found out, and they said, screw the mutual funds. Why don't we just buy stock? And you know what? Telling people to just go buy stock isn't really illegal because people do it all the time. CNBC. What's that show called? Is it like Mad Money with what's his nuts Kramer? He does it all the time. It grabs the bat and tells you what to buy stock in. But it's like, doing it on Reddit is not illegal. It's not. You can do it. Now, I know there's some regulations around pump and dumping and the insider trading info, which isn't really occurred here either. And also the idea of like, well, what if they're just like attacking a company? But they're not necessarily doing that. They're actually paying into a company to raise its value, but they're not dumping it to then decrease that value. And it's not really being done. It's just being done for a laugh. And you can't, there's not really any legality there. People are just buying stock. That's what people do all the time. It just so happens that a lot of people are listening to the people who recommended buying the stock. So then the stock price started to go up. It got as high as $450, I think, last night. Right now it's just under $200. So it's like, it's been all over the place. That is just huge jumps to go about. It's very rare that a stock jumps around that much in price. So, everyone's doing it through Robinhood. They have other sites, but Robinhood, I like Robinhood. I'm very new to the whole idea of trading, obviously, because I'm only doing it now. I should have been doing it. I've been wanting to do it for a while. Now, not but not tons of amounts. I don't know what word I was trying to make there, but not tons of amounts of cash. Just kind of for fun, just to see how it all works and go from there. And I got interested in the Gamestop thing, so I was like, this will be fun. Why not join in on the fun of it? And Robinhood was the recommended site, and it's a good site. I actually tried E-Trade as well. Robinhood is a much cleaner site, so I see why people prefer it. But then strange things started to happen. And one of the first weird things that happened was, well, the subreddit disappeared. It didn't get deleted entirely from what I've understood. I believe it was only taken down, or at least it was blocked for harassment on the internet. A place where harassment happens a lot, and oftentimes feels like a lot of websites ignore it, especially on Reddit. I know Reddit pages that are just hate pages, basically, for different YouTube channels. So to tell me right now that they took down, or blocked at least, a complete channel or subreddit just because of harassment, I don't buy it. I really don't buy it. Then they also, the Discord got taken down. Why? Harassment? It just doesn't seem like that's the reason. It seems like people don't like the chatter because these mutual funds who were hoping GameStop would be going under $10 at some point, were surprised to find out that GameStop went as high as $450 last night. You know how much money that's going to lose some of these mutual funds? You know, a lot of money is going to be lost on Wall Street. I mean, you're talking about billions, not millions, billions of dollars. There was already $1 billion bailout from another mutual fund for the mutual fund that got screwed over in the GameStop deal. And it's like, I don't know. I don't know the people who run these mutual funds. I don't know who's invested in these mutual funds. But what I do know is that Wall Street, the people on there like to be risky. And the idea of a short is very risky. Unless you really know what's happening and you really know what's going on. And maybe GameStop was just a sure deal. Maybe, for sure, it was going to end up crashing and failing eventually. But this company earlier in the month had already lost money elsewhere, and that's kind of what woke up these Redditors to what was going on, because they found that they had shorted the stock for 140% of the stocks available. 140%. You know, this is the number I heard, and 140%. You know, that's more than stocks available. That's how much they shorted it. So it's like, if that's not risky, which I mean, like, yeah, maybe GameStop was going to fail, but I mean, what if it didn't? And the guy was already getting screwed over elsewhere. I say the guy because I heard one guy's name from the mutual fund, but I'm just saying. And so things started to get censored because I don't think they liked all the chatter going on, and no one liked the fact that, oh, they can just tell all their friends to go buy a stock, and I don't really know how to control this because we can't just stop people from buying stock, because that means then we can't buy stock. And it's like, right. So I don't know, what do you do? Well, the next thing that happened was Robinhood, and some other sites, but Robinhood specifically, released a statement. The statement reads, "Our mission at Robinhood is to democratize finance for all." Yes, we are a capitalist nation, and it's a free market, and anybody can jump in. It's a wonderful thing, right? Right. It's all fair here. We're proud to have created a platform that has helped everyday people from all backgrounds shape their financial futures and invest in the long term. And it's great. I love this country, and I love being able to just open up an app and invest some of my money and just see where it goes. I also kind of learned that, and I don't know why I thought this, but I used to think that you had to buy at least one stock. You couldn't just buy a portion of a stock. I didn't realize you could do it in terms of dollars rather than stocks, because I was like, well, who can even buy a stock of Amazon nowadays if it costs like $3,000? Now I realize you could just put, you can get like a portion of a share, which is helpful to know. We continuously monitor the markets and make changes where necessary. In light of recent volatility, we are restricting transactions for certain securities to position closing only. So that means you can't buy anymore. You could sell it, but you can't buy anymore. This is a trading app where they're not letting you buy stocks. What kind of trade is that? Only selling? Who's buying then? Who's buying what we're selling? I mean, someone's got to be buying it. Who's able to buy still? They list a bunch of different stocks, because actually this wasn't just GameStop that this was happening. It was happening with AMC, it was happening with Nokia, all these kind of old school, for me anyway, because it's kind of taking me back to like the 2000s, like, oh yeah, Nokia phones back in the day, AMC theaters, the AMC channel, like, great times. It's not that, AMC, it's like I want to keep that alive, but as far as what was going on with those, I guess people were also shorting those stocks, which those seem a little more obvious than GameStop. Well, AMC not so much, but Nokia for sure. I'm like, Nokia, I haven't even heard of the last time they did anything. So, but they list a bunch of other stocks as well. We also raised margin requirements for certain securities. So this is kind of a unique thing, because it's like, I don't know of any time that they have ever done this before where they seriously just go in there and they're like, nope, you can't buy anything anymore. And they also, margin requirement, from just reading about it, the percentage of marginable securities that an investor must pay with his or her own cash. So basically, kind of what I was thinking before, where you had to pay like a certain amount rather than just being able to do a portion of it. So it's like, actually, I'm trying to read about it. I might get that wrong. Like I said, I'm not a financial whiz. Curtis, basically to cover for any drops that happen. Well, point is, these were unique circumstances. Not really anything they've ever done before, and it's like, really? So GameStop started going up. It started screwing up with these mutual funds, so now you're just going to restrict us from doing anything. Amid significant market volatility, it's important as ever that we help customers stay informed. That's why we're committed to providing people with educational resources. We recently revamped and expanded Robinhood Learn and blah, 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 blah. Yeah, and it's like, okay, because you don't want people to be buying into GameStop with like thousands of dollars, I guess, and thinking we're going all in because it's going up high, and then it suddenly isn't going up high anymore, because this is a bubble. GameStop is not worth this much. It's not going to change anything for GameStop. But do you really think everybody's investing like that much? I would do a stern warning to anybody who's thinking about investing like a life savings into this shenanigan. But there were people who went in early on who invested a lot and are getting huge returns, which is like good for them for catching it. I mean, for figuring this out, because they didn't do anything illegal. They didn't. And basically with the stock market, they kind of just make up their own rules. They make up their regulations and everything. Government can step in, sure, but like for the most part, they're making the regulations. So it's like, I I don't know if they make a regulation though. They have to also regulate it for everybody who goes into the stock market in a way. But like, they can't. The only thing to me where I'm like, if you really don't want this to happen again, it'd be like banning shorting in general, which they're not going to do. So I also have to find the original announcement that the second announcement actually, because that one was just ridiculous. Like, you're gonna stop people from trading in general, or at least trading this specific stock. That is some of the craziest crap I've ever heard in my entire life. People are making money, everyday people, and you decide, no, not anymore, because you are causing another company to lose billions of dollars, a mutual fund losing billions of dollars. But it's like, isn't that the market? There's risk involved. Everybody knows it. But yet, when the people with a lot of money get risky, they always find a bailout. I mean, this mutual fund already found a bailout. I'm not sure about the other ones, but it's like, all right, I gotta find where this other one was, because I think I might have deleted it. But this is very unique what's going on. These are not, this isn't normal. Nobody should be able to do this. There's already a class action lawsuit against Robinhood for all of this, for everything that happened. Because, yeah, you can't just do that. You can't just turn it off and be like, oh, we're not going to let you buy that stock anymore because it's doing too well. It's doing too well for everybody because the percentages went up too high too quickly. Everybody made a bunch of money. Robinhood, I mean, look at the name of your company, Robinhood. Have you read it? Seen the movie? Have you seen the Fox? Steal from the rich, give to the poor. That's very much what happened here. I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm not really saying, like, I want the mutual fund to crash. Eat the rich. No, I'm not saying that. And I'm not saying it's very good that then they had to get bailed out, because it's like the money is all coming from somewhere. You know, this could cause maybe issues. And also doesn't help people trust the market then when Gamestop will eventually go under, and then they do this to other stocks. Because I'm like, how are they going to stop people from doing this again? And people can jump in early and make some profit, but there's going to be other people who see the bubbles happen and they go down and volatility, and it's like people aren't going to trust it as much, I feel like. So there could be some bad side effects to this all. You know, the stock market isn't just for rich people. There's people who have 401ks, everyday people. There's people who have Roth IRAs, things like that. Basically, though, Robinhood, with the way they're acting about this, doesn't make any sense, because it's the free market. This is the USA. This isn't the United States of businessmen who lost too much money, so they're giving a phone call to the Robinhood guys. I'm not saying that happened, but it's a good conspiracy theory. So this was their other update. Hi, Justin. Hi. It's been a tough day, and we're grateful to you for being a Robinhood customer. In light of the extraordinary market conditions this week, we temporarily limited buying for certain securities. They have a link there because it's like, if you didn't know, it's GameStop. Starting tomorrow, we plan to allow limited buys of these securities. We'll continue to monitor the situation and may make adjustments as needed. So pretty much, they're not saying they're going to stop. They're going to limit people, but if it starts going crazy again, and especially if people don't sell and they're keeping GameStop up, which just seems like a crusade. This seems like a strange internet revolution for people. People don't want to sell. GameStop during the pre-market hours was starting to go down in price, but it went up again. It dipped again and went back up. It's like people are fighting back. They're like, don't want this stock to fail. And I'm sure there's people who are involved in Wall Street who are trying to find a way and doing what they can to bring the stock down. But it's like, now they're doing this. They're literally like trying to not even let us invest, which is like very strange. Like I said, not agreeing with it one way or another, but like to not even allow what is absolutely legal. what's the point of even existing then? You're pretty much stopping the one mechanism that is absolutely allowed in trading, which is trade, buying. This was a temporary decision made to best continue serving you. Thank you. Thank you so much for doing that. Not that I have a ton of money to go invest anyway, so it's not like I can make a huge profit. But the point is, for the little money that I put in, I made a profit. So it's like, how is that serving me then to say, oh, but we're not going to let you buy anymore. No more for you. And it was not an easy one to make. We know it's led to frustration and confusion and wanted to provide some clarity. Thank you. That made it a lot more clear that we had to do it because it was extraordinary. And tomorrow we're going to allow you to buy again, but we might have to monitor and make adjustments, which pretty much is saying, yeah, if this same thing happens again and with like any stock, we'll do it again. Don't worry. As a brokerage firm, we have many financial requirements, including SEC net capital obligations and clearinghouse deposits. Some of these requirements fluctuate based on volatility in the market and can be substantial in the current environment. These requirements exist to protect investors and the markets, and we make our responsibilities to comply with them seriously, including through the measures we have taken today. Okay, I'm sure there's some different regulations they got to follow, and as far as what they got to do if they have to do payouts, I'm sure there's worries within Robinhood itself, but to me that still doesn't really even explain stopping GameStop from being bought, because it's like once it hit like $400 some, I was like, people who are buying into it at this point aren't probably going to make much of a profit, because it's really the people who came in early. So exactly what's the point of stopping people now? To me, I mean, I don't know. That could be some conversation in the comments to maybe explain it to me a little better, but I just don't see the point. To be clear, this decision was not made on the direction of any market maker we route to or other market participants. Well, it's a good thing you saved yourself there. Nope, no one told us to do it. Okay, the past year in particular, this paragraph is amazing. The past year in particular has shown us that the financial markets are for everyone. Not just institutional investors and hedge funds. They're for everyone. 2020 was one of the worst years in modern human history. People were pretty much forced out of their jobs as a pandemic was raging on across the country with pretty much no clue exactly how to handle it. We were pretty much new to this entire thing, with so many disagreeing sides amidst a crazy election. And as people were becoming financially unstable, and the government tried to find ways to get around it by like pushing back mortgage payments, freezing student loans, things like that, and giving people $1,200 for pretty much the entire year. I guess they gave us $600 extra. I'm not really complaining about it, because it's like I've been able to work this entire time. I've been very fortunate during this time, whereas a lot of people haven't been. So you're telling me right now, amidst all of that, people were able to invest in the stock market, normal, everyday people? Really? You're really going to tell me that right now? Normal, everyday people were the ones investing in that stock market that caused it to go up? It's great if someone does have investments in like a 401k or Roth IRA. But, come on. Don't tell me right now that people in this past year in particular has shown us that the financial markets are for everyone. I would say 2020 is probably not the year. I'd be absolutely surprised if any individual person was taking advantage of the year 2020 by investing in the stock market. I mean, you can look at the numbers from early 2020 and how low a lot of the companies were versus what they are now. It's crazy how many companies have like doubled in price. Even everyday companies you use all the time that you would think would have already been at that high price. If you look at their numbers in 2020, they've like doubled. Companies have made a ton of money during this pandemic in stocks, and I'm sure tons of different funds and IRA accounts and 401ks have done great, and that's great for ordinary people. But it's like, as far as everybody else is doing, it's like, it doesn't seem like the market where it's at is really reflecting where the economy is at. We've seen a new generation enter the market, and they're sparking conversations about what it means to be an investor. The new generation, I guess, being Generation Z, which I'm part of, but, maybe a lot of them don't remember what happened in 2008. I think I'm the oldest of Generation Z, technically, because I'm at, like, the tail end of millennial, but I'm at, like, the beginning of Gen Z. I don't consider myself a millennial because I feel like most of them are 30 at this point. I think I'm at the beginning of Gen Z. And saying that, I think a lot of millennials, which, I've heard the numbers as far as the type of net worth that people who are millennials have. And it's like, obviously, the effects of 2008 affected millennials. And you're really going to tell me that they have a bunch of money invest in the stock market? It seems like most millennials don't trust the stock market. Maybe the new generation will, people who are coming in as adults now from Gen Z, because they don't remember 2008. I mean, I remember it, strangely well, but that's just because, the news, I used to watch a lot of news as a kid, and it was very interesting to me what was going on. But it's just funny to me that this paragraph, we stand in support of you, our customers. Yes, by stopping you from doing the one thing you should be able to do on a trading app. Democratizing finance for all means giving more people access, not less. Unless you're making money in a very easy way. Because it's okay if we do it, which I'm not saying Robinhood is part of the Wall Street elite, but I'm not saying you should be able to do it. We can. But if you do it, we'll keep monitoring market conditions, and we'll update this Help Center article with the latest changes. We also published a blog post regarding today's events. I didn't read the blog post yet. I wonder if it's the same thing. But yeah, and this is the one that this is everything I've already read. Why did they give us a link for something where I've already read? That's weird. We will continue to build products that give more people, not fewer, access to our financial system. Yeah. Well, Robinhood, now you have class action lawsuit from not allowing people to trade a stock. So I don't know how it's going to turn out. I mean, I feel like there's some very good legal grounds there, because you didn't have a reason. You didn't really have a reason to stop people from buying it. You're saying it's because of volatility, but it's like, kidding me? Like I said, a lot of these stocks earlier in 2020 literally have doubled in price at this point versus where they were at early 2020. In a full year, they've all doubled in price. Tons of them. So that's okay. But GameStop, a bunch of Redditors helping a bunch of people online figure out a way to make money. Don't do that. Rules for thee, but not for me. It's bullcrap. And I'm not even that heavily invested in the whole thing. Figuratively and literally, I'm not. But it was one of those things where it's like, this ticks me off. This is, shouldn't be allowed. It's garbage. So, I don't have much more to say about it. I am not a financial whiz, so I'm sure I got some things wrong here as far as the details go. But certainly go read up on it yourself, go different, and go watch the CNBC interviews, because it's really funny to watch some big Wall Street guys get really pissed off about Redditors. It's kind of hilarious, but the whole thing is very funny. I don't 100% agree with everything that's going on, in a way, because it's like, I think it's nice that people were able to make money. I was reading some stories about people who actually invested early on and were able to get out with quite a bit of money, and it's actually helping them a lot with issues that they had going on. There was a story about someone who was able to help their friend get this surgery now, which is that's great. Something about someone being able to get a surgery for their dog as well, who they were sure was going to die for a surgery that they couldn't afford, but now they can get it. Maybe these stories ain't real, but it's I like to believe that this money is impacting these people's lives, and it's not probably nearly as much as some of the people on Wall Street make all the time. And it's just funny that so many people did this and are making not crazy amounts of money, but more money than they've ever made in that amount of time. And it's ticking off the people on Wall Street so much because they're losing money that they will easily get bailed out of. The government shouldn't touch this, and I'm sure they will, and they shouldn't. They should leave it be. Let the market be free. Shouldn't be able to manipulate it. They might say that it was manipulation on the investors' end, but it's like, I don't think they did anything different than what you guys usually do. So the government should just stay out of it, because they should be stepping in every time you guys do it then. So I feel. Anyway, thanks for watching this long-winded video, but had to get my thoughts.